Scene script. Ever wondered about the current state of India's inflation rate? Well, you're in for a treat. Imagine inflation as a giant balloon, expanding and contracting with the economic winds. The more it expands, the more prices rise. When it contracts, prices stabilize or even drop. The inflation rate is simply the rate at which this balloon expands or contracts over a period of time. India's headline retail inflation rate has recently eased to a 10-month low of 4.85%. To put this into perspective, this is the lowest inflation rate since May 2023, when it was at 4.31%. But what does this mean for you and me? Well, when inflation is low, our money goes further. We can buy more with the same amount of money. However, if inflation is too low, it could signal a sluggish economy. Now let's delve a bit deeper. The Consumer Price Index, or CPI, is a measure of the average change over time in the prices paid by urban consumers for a market basket of consumer goods and services. The CPI inflation print for February was 5.09%. With the latest figure at 4.85%, it appears we're seeing a slight easing of inflationary pressures. Interestingly, this figure is slightly lower than what economists had predicted. They had expected prices to have eased to 4.91%. This goes to show that predicting economic trends is not an exact science. This latest inflation data was released just a week after the Reserve Bank of India's Monetary Policy Committee decided to keep the policy repo rate unchanged at 6.5% for the 7th consecutive time. This decision is a clear indication of the central bank's confidence in the stability of the economy. Digging further into the numbers, we find that food inflation has softened slightly, with the index coming in at 8.52%, compared to 8.66% the previous month. However, prices of cereals and meat and fish have risen. In total, the food and beverages inflation stood at 7.68% in March, a slight decrease from 7.76% in February. The ongoing uptrend in international crude oil prices could also pose a risk to the CPI inflation outlook in the near term. To wrap up, inflation is a delicate balance. Too high and our money buys less. Too low, and it could signal a weak economy. Right now, India's inflation rate is at a 10-month low, a sign of a stable economy. But with potential risks on the horizon, it's a situation that warrants close monitoring. Remember, the economy is like a giant balloon, and it's our job to keep it from popping.